very good day to everyone. My name is Aida Fitri Binti Peli and I am a final year student of Chemical Engineering, majoring in Biochemical Engineering from Faculty of Engineering, University Putra, Malaysia, with my metric number of 185139. So this will be my final year project video proposal. In this video, I will talk about the overall idea of my project. So despite of throwing up all the overall idea, I also will structure it properly by several sections. For example, my problem statement, my hypothesis, my objective, scope of study, and last but not least is my methodology. And this section will be trained up by my literature review 1 or 2 to make a clear path of this project, as well as to increase the success probability of my final year project. So before we begin, as we know, Malaysia is a multi-racial, multi-regional and multicultural country which contributes significantly in diversity of food. I am a very proud Malaysian because I can have variety of food, where in the morning I can have nasi lemak or roti canai with teh tarik, and during lunch and I can have a mixed rice, and at night I can have meal until the next dawn. So when we talk about food, it is essential to have a healthy food in order to have a healthy lifestyle. So when it comes to healthy food, first comes into our mind is we must have a fresh food that comes out from the kitchen in order for us to get a healthy body. However, we should not forget about fermented food that contributes significantly indirectly into our body health. So within the diversity of Malaysian food, we are not excluded to have fermented food because we have bodu, we have cincaluk, we have tempoyak and belacan. However, among all the local fermented food, I am more interested in tempoyak because, as you can see, tempoyak heritage or its consumption within the Malaysian younger generation can be felt as the most unwanted food to be desired due to its smell or due to our younger generation that have Western food more than traditional food. Therefore, I would like to propose my final year project to be entitled as the Indigenous Probiotic of Tempoyak Malaysian Fermented Food. What is probiotic? Probiotic is a living microorganism that adequate significantly in host health, or in other words, in human health. So what is tempoyak? Tempoyak is a fermented durian that is eaten as a complementary community food which has the same role as budu and belacan. How it is made? It is made by taking out the flesh or the durian pulp from its seeds, and then it is mixed either with or without salt before it is placed in a sealed container for a week. Usually the durian that is in excess or durian that has low quality is used to make a tempoyak. Most of researchers found that most local fermented food can contribute significantly in human health because it contains probiotic strain. So some of the countries, they commercialize their local fermented food nationally and globally, like cheese and yogurt. So in 2012, Ganisan and his team, through their journal entitled Nutritional Benefits of Cheese, Cheese Type, Nutrition and Consumption, found that cheese contains minerals, vitamins as well as probiotic. Other than undesirable of tempoyak among the Malaysian younger generation, I would like to highlight one common problem, which is not many local tempoyak has been screened or identified as probiotic food. Malaysia has a potential in commercializing the tempoyak to be a good food for stomach in line with the other probiotic beverages such as Yakult and Vitagen, as well as probiotic vegetables such as kimchi, which is proud and commercialized by the Korean. For your information, in 2016, he and his researchers, through their journal entitled Isolation of Lactic Acid Bacteria with Probiotic Potential from Kimchi, a traditional Korean fermented food, believe that kimchi can contribute in humans' health by being antioxidative, anti-diabetic, and anti-obesity due to the presence of LAB bacteria or lactic acid bacteria in the kimchi itself, and they found that there is Lactobacillus plantarum in the kimchi. This is not excluded for Tempoyak. Luckily, there are some researchers in Malaysia have found that Tempoyak is indeed contain a lactic acid bacteria which is probiotic potential for human health. For example, in 2016, there are researchers from University Science Malaysia team up with researchers from University Malaya. They found that diverse of lactic acid bacteria within the Tempoyak. They published their findings in journal entitled Physiochemical Microbiological Properties of Tempoyak and Molecular Characterization of Lactic Acid Bacteria Isolated from Tempoyak. Significantly, there is a team of researchers from University Kebangsaan Malaysia has confirmed that Tempoyak contain Lactobacillus plantarum, which is one of a kind lactic acid bacteria that can be probiotic potential for human health. So, my other problem statement is that different durian for Tempoyak making may have different probiotic strain. This is because Malaysia has different durian orchards throughout the country. It depends on the state, so the fruit may have different nutrient absorbed from different area of Malaysia. So that is my other concern in this project. Therefore, I came up with a hypothesis which is with a proper identification of Tempoyak as a probiotic fruit, we can commercialize our own local fermented food nationally and globally. Moreover, the probiotic strain isolated from Tempoyak may contribute in human health significantly due to the LAB bacteria presence within it. To enlighten the path of my final year project, I have outlined two major objectives, which is the first is to isolate and to identify the potential probiotic strain of different Tempoyak from different states of Malaysia. Second is to characterize the isolated probiotic strain that contain in each of the Tempoyak. Last but not least, I would like to propose the methodology of this project. So I have divided the methodology into 4 phases, which is the first phase is the preparation phase, second is the probiotic identification phase, third is probiotic survival in gastrointestinal tract phase, and fourth, the last phase is probiotic functional value phase. So in the first phase, we have 3 main activities, which is the first is preparation of nutrient medium. For example, MRS broth, MRS agar, nutrient agar, and PBS solution. Second is isolation of probiotic strain. This is to isolate the potential probiotic strain and obtain a pure colony from the Tempoyak. Third is the cultivation of the pure colony to make a stock culture. Next is probiotic identification phase, which involves 2 tests, which is the first is gram staining test to determine the probiotic either negative gram or positive gram stain. Second is 16-srRNA, which is the best pure colony will be sent into the Institute of Bioscience University Putra Malaysia to identify the species involved from the Tempoyak. So in the third phase, which is the probiotic survival in gastrointestinal tract, involves 2 tests, which is low pH tolerance test, where I alter the pH condition to the concentration of hydrochloric acid. And the second test is bile tolerance test, where I control the bile tolerance through concentration of ox bile. So my last phase of methodology involves 3 tests, which is first is antimicrobial test, where I will use agar diffusion method and involves potential pathogens such as E. coli, Streptococcus. Next is antibiotic resistant test, where I also use agar diffusion method with the potential antibiotics such as penicillin and ampicillin. Last but not least is the anti-cholesterol test, where I will use Rudel and Morris method in determining the cholesterol using O-butalaldehyde. Therefore, as Malaysian, I hope that this project is being accepted and the research procedure can be executed until the end of my journey of final year. as I believe that Tempoyak has its potential in being a probiotic food and can be commercialized nationally and globally. So Malaysia is such a waste if I do not execute this final year project, as I know and I believe we have scientific value in our own tradition. So that's all from me. Thank you for lending your ears and listening to my overall idea for my final year project. Thank you.